So I'm back with more questions. Why did you start the company? Like, what was the motivation behind this?
Yeah, so the motivation for starting the company actually came during my PhD. And so I was actually doing something kind of completely different. So I was working with a bacterium that you could use to harvest algae. And this seems like a kind of a weird thing, um, but that's kind of how academia works sometimes. And so I was using this large bacterium, which is large by bacterial standards, and you could add it to the algae, cause them to clump up, and you could harvest them. But the problem was this is ridiculously expensive for harvesting algae. So I was trying to figure out how could I actually make this cheaper? How could I actually make this viable? And so I was attaching these small magnetic particles onto the bacterium. So after we would harvest the algae, I could get the bacterium off and reuse them over again. And being a good scientist, I had a control in there where a control experiment where I just added the magnetic particles themselves. And it turned out those magnetic particles actually worked way better than the particles and the bacterium. And so when I saw that, I thought, that is actually interesting. And so I did all the follow up work and I realized that I had something in my hands to actually harvest algae much more efficiently than had been done in the past. And so I knew I had a discovery there. And what I didn't want to do is basically just publish this in a paper and hope that someone would pick it up. What I wanted to do was get this out into the world where it could do some good. And so that was one of the big motivators to starting this company.
That's an interesting story. Thank you.